And coming from Washington, D.C., it's Schuler.
It's your butthole. It's me. I'm here. I'm in the beehole. What's going on, Dr. Crypticus?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, very well. What's happening in your life?
What's happening in my life? Lunch is what's happening in my life.
Ooh, smell that burp. Ooh. Now I'm getting a little caviar. You're getting some pate.
You're getting a hard dose of nooch. Of nooch is what you're getting.
Oh god, that usually comes up the other end for me.
Oh Jesus. I produce nooch.
Nooch makes me fart like a baboon.
It doesn't do that to me at all. Interesting. It doesn't do that to me at all.
Our friend, the most metal heart surgeon, dropped an embarrassing amount of money on the Crypticus Bandcamp. I immediately turned around spending all that money on Bandcamp buying other people's death metal CDs. So yeah, I got
paying it forward. I think that's a healthy thing to be able to do, especially like, if you don't necessarily have to work. Whoa, goodness gracious.
So look, Doc, just so that you know your money's going to a good place. I'm putting it right back into the show. Yeah, because lots of good stuff hit all at once. I was like, Jesus Christ.
And you know what's even cooler?
What's that?
He got that money from fucking cutting on people's hearts.
Yes. Yes, and eating them. Allegedly.
That's fucking blood money, right? And that's allegedly the New York, Pennsylvania heart cannibal. It's he's out there, maybe. We don't know for sure.
He cures it, then he eats it.
Yeah, man, like that to me, that makes me feel really good. Like every now and then somebody will be like, here, I'm a banker. Or like, yeah, I'm like a fireman. Take this hard-earned money. Let me buy some of your band's shit. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. But then when somebody's like, I got this money, right, by cutting a motherfucker open, right, and sticking a bunch of tubes in his heart, I say to myself, that money makes me feel better when I have it, right? So spend that money on me. And then I'll turn around and spend it other places. Do you know what Friday is?
Well, it was a fantastic movie starring Ice Cube.
Do you know what's happening Friday?
And I believe Tiny Lister Jr. was in that. And
Zeus Tiny Lister Jr. played Debo.
Yes, yeah. And then I believe
Tucker.
John Witherspoon, who is one of the most hilarious motherfuckers on the planet.
Absolute legend.
You got knocked the fuck out. Yes, that's the Friday I know and love.
Well,
is that what you're referring to? That must be what he's referring to.
I am not. Shout out to Peeling Flesh using the Next Friday samples in their shit. It's Mr. Nasty Time. This Friday, it's Mr. Even Nastier Time.
Okay.
When a new record drops by a band called fucking Autopsy. Here's my giant fucking stack of Autopsy CDs that I've been going through and jamming. So this is their split with Bloodbath that's got a cover of the old California like punkier band called Bloodbath. Autopsy has a cover on here. It's called Fuck You, and it's really good. But this bad boy right here, this is After the Cutting. This is a 4-disc, really, really cool art book, media book style, 4 CDs, and then like this massive, wonderful, beautiful art book that's got like the story of the band.
It's like a coffee table book.
If I had a real coffee table, it would stay out there. But it's got tons of really cool shit on it. The first 2 CDs are all just a big best of thing.
Yeah, it's thick.
There is a track on here. It is, man. There's a track on here called Dead Incantations that was from like a version of Autopsy that never released anything. It was between Autopsy and Abscess. And it's got a whole bunch of really cool shit on here.
What does that retail for?
I don't remember what I paid for this, but it's probably, I'm sure they're sold out of it by now, but it's expensive as fuck. I've had this since, I got this in, I guess, 2014. Maybe. I was living in Myrtle Beach at the time. Just a really fucking good record. And I just love this presentation, dude. If more bands did this, if I got to a point where I was like super fucking balling money wise, I would like pay to get these made for TROCAR. Like for every record that we did, I just use my own money and just eat it at a loss because it's so cool. You can do so much cool shit with it, you know?
Very unpleasant photos in that.
I know, right? It would
like just like over the top medical, like, just papers and files and, with coffee stains on it and stuff, and just crazy going into the details of the production of the album and stuff. But yeah, anyway, yes.
I had to sideline us with Autopsy. I'm dedicated to this, man. I am a massive, massive Autopsy fan. If you have never seen the Autopsy DVD, Born Undead, I suggest watching this, if for no reason other than to hear the interview with Ross, where he talks about his love for Autopsy and says that he's like, Autopsy's like a steaming, sliming shit. It's great. Get you a man who talks about you the way Ross Sewage talks about Autopsy. That's how you know you're in a loving relationship with a dude who gives a fuck.
What you got there? I can't read it.
Brother, this is an old logo. It's Phobophilic.
Phobophilic. Oh, those guys.
Yeah. Do you like Demolich?
Yes, I love those guys. That's a totally different logo on your shirt.
Yeah, it is. This is the old logo, right?
Yeah, that confused me.
This is how I get to do the old school hipster shit today and be like, your boy has been with Phobophilic since the 2019 rehearsal demo. Hold the fucking, let me grab some shit real quick.
All right. This is the part of the show where he just runs over to the side and just furiously masturbates. Has nothing to do with anything about death metal. It's just odd. It's odd behavior, frankly, folks. And but we're here to accept. We're not here to judge. But all right, he's back.
I saw your fucking yap flapping. I know you were slandering me in my absence. I know it.
My gums were flapping.
Back in 2019, a band called Phobophilic, they dropped this 2019 rehearsal demo, and it's 3 songs that ended up on a later demo called Undimensioned Identities, as well as, I think there's like a cover on there, but I can't remember what it's a cover of. Probably a Demolich song. And then this split that they did with Sedimentum.
Hold on, what is that?
Also really
What's
incredible.
in there? That's a huge box.
Dude, it is a huge box and it's dope as fuck, all right? So this is the, pop that bad boy open and you got yourself a tape in there. Horrific Manifestations.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? But wait, there's more. You get the same thing.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh, God, that's great.
A beautiful white 7-inch. This is the Rotted Life Records version. Phobophilic. Sedimentum also fucking rules, but I've been holding it down for Phobophilic since the beginning. I've been very, very excited to see them level up, which is something that they deserved. I feel like it would have happened a whole lot quicker if the pandemic hadn't struck us. But I also feel like the pandemic, given all the people like us who sort of gained a little bit of a platform during the course of the pandemic, I feel like one of the things that we have been able to do is give bands traction, right? And so any traction that I can give Phobophilic, I want to make sure that I give them right now. They have a new record out called Enveloping Absurdity. It's their first full length. It's on Prosthetic Records, and it is really, really fucking good, man.
I don't think they need that much of a push because they've been doing really, really good. That album's... See, I'm embarrassed to say I didn't recognize them by name because I can't remember anybody now by their name. I have to visually see the logo or the cover art.
But you looked at the logo. Yeah, you looked at the logo and
you said a name I've heard, but just because the logo looked different on your shirt, I had no fucking idea who you were talking about. But you're right. I got a ton of fucking Demolich from that, and so much like acoustic guitars and weird interludes and stuff. I love that. Lots of atmosphere. So yeah, I was not familiar with them at all until this album. So I'm still I'll have to go back.
I will take it upon myself to make sure that you go back. I will hound you about going back and checking out some of the earlier shit. The demo, particularly Undimensioned Identities, like the songs from the rehearsal tape obviously are raw and it sounds like a fucking rehearsal tape. It's just a really cool thing to have. This tape though, this Undimensioned Identities demo, this is where they really got their start, and goddamn, it's really, really good, man. That to me is the first proper Phobophilic release of what I hope will be just a fucking spate of Phobophilic releases, just bludgeoning us.
Well, this one, it's getting so much acclaim. I think I think that we'll be seeing more from them. Yeah. So yeah, what else you got there?
I've gotten some good stuff. Not so much like new stuff. The new stuff that I have been like absolutely stuck on. Obviously, fucking Tribal Gaze is a revelation. Incredibly good record. It sounds really great, and we keep talking about how good the sound is, how good the guitars are, how great it sounds sort of in my new Crypticus guided headphone selection. But like, I feel like in doing that, I feel like in being too much of a production nerd, we might be taking away from the simple fact that these are just really fucking kick-ass death metal songs. Like, you can move to them. There's variety in there. The transitions are so fucking cool. I think that after a couple more years, when the caveman riff renaissance has sort of scaled back a little bit, as it's kind of beginning to do right now, I think there are going to be several of these bands who we look at as having been sort of included in that movement that were really kind of doing other things. And when I think of like the classic, well, not classic, but like the most emblematic of the Caveman releases for me is that Rotted demo that Maggot Stomp put out. It's called Dying to Rot, and it's only got 4 tracks on it: Wounds, Liquefied, Dying to Rot, and Visions of Decay. That to me is like that's the pinnacle of the Caveman stuff, or the nadir, I guess, of the Caveman stuff.
Not the apex,
but like, yeah, it's good. No, it's good. It's good, but I feel like good in that world is more of a downward motion than an upward motion.
Fire bad, metal good.
Exactly. Plotting, like straightforward, just gross, nasty shit. Like sounds like it was pulled out of sounds like it was excavated, right?
Nothing but power chords the whole time.
Yeah.
Just chugging.
Covered in tar and just fucking mosquito amber and shit like that. It's just it's a prehistoric record, man. Or it's a demo. They've got that one. They've got another one called, I think it's Pestilential Tomb, maybe, or Tomb of Pestilence or something like that. It's really good too. Again, just like pretty straightforward fucking Caveman type shit. Tribal Gaze, on the other hand, I'm glad that they're tight with the bands that are sort of lumped in there, because that means that we get sick tours, and I think it's always better when bands sort of build each other up. And
the other one that I really listen to, I'm everyone's been checking out that newest Undeath, but I went back and really dug into the first one, which I hadn't really visited, and it's so presented as something that's Cavemanish. That is completely a prog record. Yeah. All the time signatures are insane. It's like there isn't anything that's just normal on that record. It is so bizarrely played and written and produced, and even with the cover artwork and everything.
That fucking cover art on that. The cover art on the cover of Undeath's first record is some guy coming out of a cave and killing Hank Hill, and it's fucking brutal. You think to yourself, like, all he wanted to do was sell you propane and propane products, and you had to come out of your cave and fucking cut this man's neck? Like, that's brutal.
I have a theory.
What's that? He was talking shit?
That's Boomhauer.
Oh, that's Boomhauer.
That's Boomhauer.
Coming out of the cave.
He took a lady up to that cave to bang. You can see her there in the background. She's glued to the wall by protoplasmic nastiness. Bummer. And there's this horrific thing that lives in the cave that's glued to the walls. And while Boomhauer was banging this lady, it tunneled into his brain, and you can see that it's got that tentacle drilling into his brain, controlling him. And Boomhauer goes out and he goes, and he talks Hank into coming up there so he can kill him. And it's like a whole scenario like a Slither. That's works out with your theory, because that is totally Hank Hill.
I feel like there's a story to be told there, because if you look at the cover of the second Undeath record, right, you can see that cave way off in the distance. So like they've put it off inside the cave, and now we've got a further on view of like this nightmarish background with the cave up there in the corner somewhere, right? So we're in Texas, right?
That's in Texas?
All of the Undeath shit's a concept record. It all takes place within the King of the Hill universe.
Undeath isn't a Texas band, though.
No, they're not.
Oddly, you're lumping them into the Texas death metal universe.
No. They chose to be there. They put that art on their album cover. Yeah, they decided they wanted it to be Texas representationally, right? It's a very cerebral record.
I opened the package here from Spain, Pathologically Explicit. This is some super nasty Goregrind that is like way up your alley. It's a NAEGLERIA FOWLERI, which is the album is called Dissolved in Substance, and super nasty. The inside, of course, super horrifically nasty gore collage, just how you like it. NAEGLERIA FOWLERI.
Yeah, I want to find
nasty foulness is what and it's one of those with the real the kind of straddling a little bit between Goregrind and kind of getting a little brutal death metal-y.
NAEGLERIA FOWLERI is a brain-eating amoeba.
That makes sense. Yeah. When you listen to it.
NAEGLERIA FOWLERI, colloquially known as brain-eating amoeba, is a species of the genus NAEGLERIA, belonging to the phylum Percolozoa, which is technically not classified as a true amoeba, but a shape-shifting amoeboflagellate excavate.
I assume Brazil is full of these, and I probably have some in me right now.
Let's see. It's typically found in bodies of warm, fresh water, such as ponds, lakes, rivers, hot springs, warm water discharge from industrial or power plants, geothermal well water.
Patrick Bruss's stomach.
There you go.
Well, let me tell you, you're not safe from this either. This is nasty.
Yeah, I know.
This is nasty.
You don't know which one I was talking about. I'm a fan of the brain-eating amoeba. I want to hear what it has to offer.
Yeah, well, you know, you especially being in the Goregrind scene. This is one of those that where I bought it in. You know, sometimes I buy things because I'm struck by how heavy it is. This is like I was just struck by how nasty it was. I was like, where it's like you put it on, you go, oh, you make the poo-poo face because it. And you go, I have. And you hear, and it has like a nasty snare on it and stuff. You're like, oh, that is so gross. I have to buy it. It's one of those. It's one of those horseradish buys. It's so nasty that it tastes good.
Garbage disposal vocals. That's what we're talking about, man. That's the fucking.
Yeah, they are on Bandcamp and they're gross. Yeah, and
on Bandcamp. They're gross.
I listened to it and I made the poo poo face, like, and then I immediately pressed order. With the doc's money. So thanks, Doc.
Thanks, Doc.
I got a professor. I got a doc. I got all sorts of friends. I love it.
We're trying to help you out, man. We're trying to throw the good stuff at you. Okay, so earlier in the year, I was talking to you and Trevor on Symposium of Sickness about the first full length from a Texas band called Gutricyde.
Yes, which I got too.
Put out a record on Corpse Gristle. Did you get that? You liked it? The Corpse Gristle standard is typically there's going to be a little dope baggie on the back with a guitar pick taped to it.
Love it. Love it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So one of the things that jumped out at me when I was trawling the CDN depths is I didn't realize that Gutricyde had an EP that they released called Devoured by Swine.
Nice cover.
It's really good. It's just as good as everything on the record. And it's heavy as fuck, man. Like, it's just really, really good. It's on Sound of White Noise. The songs are super short.
Oh, fuck, and it's a digipack, too. Shit, I've got such a hard-on for digipacks. I'm one of the few people like yourself, we've said this before, we both love digipacks. I love them, because I also love books and comics. It's like a trade paperback. I love it. So, yeah, I'll probably order that, too, if it's different songs.
Yeah, it is different songs.
So, like, the production standard on that is just
fantastic.
As good as the album.
It's heavy as fuck.
Fuck, man, Texas death metal.
For real. And this is just the right amount to me of like more traditional elements and brutal death metal elements. Like, it's not a slam record, but there's like slammy feeling parts, you know? It's just death metal, man. It's like,
well, and we're talking about the shit being techie, but you know, looking like Caveman. This is Caveman. Like, Frozen Soul's another one that has like just a real simplicity of riffs.
Yeah.
But the crushingness is just overwhelming, where it's like you're just being steamrolled by this wall of heaviness. And yet, like Gutricyde and Frozen Soul, they're kind of the continuation of the Bolt Thrower school, I feel. You know, and then bringing in other things like Obituary.
Yeah. And now that Texas, now that they're having that Wrecking Ball Madness thing in Texas every summer now, that Frozen Soul and Devourment did the first year, like Gutricyde should be on that, man. That would be good. I would catch that.
Wrecking Ball Madness is the perfect name.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Jesus, Texas death metal.
Yeah, it's an art form, baby. Like, there's a lot of cool shit going on in Texas right now, and we will continue to say that. And,
well, I'm definitely going to check out that EP.
Yes, do check out the EP. Are you into Ulthar at all?
Let me see. let lame brain see so he can remember.
They're on $20 spin. It is blackened death sludge crust. I'm really into Ulthar, right? And I didn't realize until not too long ago that they put out a compilation earlier in the summer that is their first demo, as well as a newer ambient track that they recorded a couple of years ago. And I just kind of happened, when I found out about that, I was like, oh shit, I gotta get this. And
I do know this band. Yes, this is got fucking
maybe
Aesop Decker's on drums, right?
I think he's one of the guys in the band.
And I believe this was a spin-off of an earlier band called Extremity that broke up.
Extremity. Well, Aesop is not in Ulthar, but there is a guy in Ulthar named Shelby Lermo. He is in a duo called Colonoscopy.
I didn't know Shelby did Goregrind.
Well, I this is more along the brutal death metal than Goregrind, but there's definitely elements of it there. But so I love the it's got the a really cool sort of gore collage on the cover, but it's not just human stuff. Like, there appears to be some sausages in here that are sort of rolled up and sticking out from behind this
disturbing.
Head. I don't think this is a brain. I think maybe it's a testicle. I can't be entirely sure, but there's a lot going on here.
Well, and that's not Goregrind, huh?
No, I mean, it's got elements of it, but I would put this more in the brutal death metal category. But it's called Inhumanly Anesthetized. It was a joint production from Severed and Coyote, so you know it's going to be heavy and ignorant as fuck. Definitely check out Colonoscopy. I just grabbed this sort of on a whim because I saw it, but also because I had just been thinking about Ulthar around the same time I placed that order. So that is one that's worth checking out.
Shelby was in a band with Aesop Decker called Extremity, which I think you're familiar with.
Which was fucking awesome.
Okay.
Coffin Birth, yes.
Right, I think they had 2 albums, right? But anyway, I swear isn't that the band that broke up and became Ulthar?
So Extremity was Aesop and Shelby, and
yes.
then Marissa from Cretan.
Shelby's a guitar player. Aesop is a semi-legendary drummer. They had a podcast a few years ago called Death Metal Dads. Mm-hmm. Death Metal Dads is the closest thing to Megatrends and Brutality. Just kind of our silly tone and the way we bring our own lives into this is so much what Aesop and Shelby were doing. And it was one of the funniest podcasts I've ever heard. They did a Slam episode, which is one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. And we're still working on being as funny as Death Metal Dads. Like, Aesop tells a lot of scene stories that would get him in trouble. The kind of shit I'd cut out of our show.
Yeah.
It was what their show was. And it had very little to do with being a dad, but people avoided the show because they thought it was about, today I changed some diapers. Like, no, it was just because they were 2 dads. That was the only way they could hang out, was doing a podcast. So please check it out. But anyway, back on the radar here. I just wanted to mention that you should check that out. You were about to bust out your final CD, I think, right?
Next to last, yes. I've got the 4-way split, Absolute Convergence. This is from our friends in Parallax Occlusion, Fumes, Celestial Sanctuary, and Thorn. 4 songs, 4 bands, 4 fucking killer bands. Thorn, absolutely love Thorn. Brennan is also the vocalist in Fluids, so he and I have worked together on a couple of things. Super cool dude. If you have not listened, are you listening to Thorn? Do you fuck with Thorn?
I don't know if I've heard Thorn. I don't think so.
It is somewhere in between. There's a lot of incantation vibes in a lot of places, just with the way he's sort of mixing up the doomier caverny shit with like crazy blasts coming out of nowhere, dipping into a number of different styles. The last record's called Yawning Depths.
Well, that sounds like that would go good with Parallax Occlusion.
Yes.
So I'm guessing there's some parody of styles here.
And Fumes, who Thorn has done a split with before, and Celestial Sanctuary. All of these bands, like, it's a perfect, if you're gonna take 4 bands to do a fucking, they match perfectly. All 4 of these songs are fucking fire. Like, it's just all 4 of these bands at the top of their form. I'm really stoked, especially about the Celestial Sanctuary track, because it's the one that opens the next record that they're about to put out. I really like their first album.
Those guys are heavy as fuck.
Yes, and bringing a lot of like old Metallica kind of squealies, and like, not necessarily Metallica, but like I feel like there's a lot of almost Pantera influence guitar wise in Celestial Sanctuary. And if you talk to the dudes in Celestial Sanctuary, they have sort of like a metalcore and a metal background.
I love UK death metal.
They're the new breed of UK death metal, or the new wave of UK.
Man, see, there's something about UK death metal. UK helped define and invent death metal. So, I don't know. I think they all have that little bit of that bolt thrower in their blood. They have all a little bit of napalm in their blood.
The band is called Celestial Sanctuary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Yes.
So
yes,
when you just feel that in,
it's really fucking good.
I love UK death metal and how riffy they are usually. So and especially Celestial Sanctuary. So what about I love Parallax Occlusion. Those guys have a very interesting style. And what's their song like on that?
Weird.
One? Yeah.
It's good. I mean, it's weird. It's good, but it's bizarre. One of the cool things about Parallax Occlusion, around the time the EP or the demo, I was putting together people that I wanted to try and get on Lifts and Riffs, and I sent a message to their account, and I got a reply that they didn't want to do the show because they felt their style was more appropriate to the print medium, and that made me absolutely love that band. I was under the impression that maybe they just thought that print medium, since the band is based on like 3D printing, that maybe that was more of like their speed. I was like, is that what he's trying to do here?
No, I think social anxiety is more prevalent than these concepts.
It's your boy. I've got one thing left, and it's not a new record. It's an old record. It's the opening track from Black Dahlia Murder's album Ritual, and the song is called "A Shrine to Madness." And I've been listening to this song. Listen to the works of Trevor Sternad, because he gave us some good ones, man. That's our boy right there. That's our boy. It's a beautiful record. So
melodic.
That song. So the song "A Shrine to Madness."
Yeah, the playing.
The opening track that I always listen to. That's the one that I always listen to on the beginning of Halloween season. And it's a song that's literally about Halloween. And the cool thing that struck me about it the first time I heard it was like how cool and gruesome and adult and like esoteric and mysterious and magical he's making this thing feel. You know what I mean? Like all the shit that I love about this time of year is perfectly encapsulated, not just in the sound of that song, which is beautifully written, incredibly musical from a musical standpoint. It fits it perfectly, but the lyrical themes there and just the way he delivers that shit in that song is fucking. It's not fall without that to me.
Yeah, Trevor's lyrics. Trevor and Danny Filth are really, to me, I feel the dudes that lyrically really just speak to me. Evil gothic darkness and grossness and savagery and gruesomeness combined with gothic beauty. Yeah, rest in peace, Trevor, sir. You fucking rocked the world. You rocked the world, sir, and you still do. I'm still gonna be blasting that music.
And you still do. And that's what I've got. That's what I've got for this meeting, I think. We'll need to wrap it up relatively soon.
Okay. We recorded this last time, but it all got fucked up when I got lost at sea, when I was looking for the origins of the lost city of R'lyeh in where Cthulhu lies sleeping. And you took over the show, and then I came back and had to wrest the show from you, and it was a big power struggle, and now we're back friends again. But fuck all of you, you traitors, you sons of bitches, for liking the show more when Schuler hosted it solo.